Welcome back to my animal education series. So today I'm talking with some women down in Costa Rica. So do you guys mind introducing yourselves and how long you've been working with your organization?
Hi, my name is Sandy Quiroz and I'm the veterinarian here at Alturas Wildlife Sanctuary in Costa Rica.
And I'm Tiffany Schroeder, and I'm in charge of our outreach and fundraising and many other things here at Alturas Wildlife Sanctuary.
So today we are talking about the Kinkajou. So are there any in your care currently?
So yes, we do have a young adult Kinkajou. He's a male. His name is Jimmy. He came to us about 3 years ago, and we predict that he was abandoned by his mother or rejected by his mother. And on falling from the tree, because that's where they are, he got a brain hemorrhage, and how he has some neurological issues causing some partial blindness and deafness. So that's why he's here.
And the one that's in your care, will you be able to rehabilitate and then release that animal?
So yeah, he has a permanent damage in his brain, so he's not going to be able to be released. So we managed to build him a special habitat for him, or an enclosure where he's going to stay with us the rest of his life. Unfortunately, the damage in the brain is not, we weren't able to correct it 100%. He did got better with the days and the treatment, but unfortunately he's blind, so he wouldn't be able to have a normal life in nature.
So I assume that Kinkajous are native to Costa Rica, but where else can you find them?
Yes, you can find Kinkajous in Central and South America normally.
What kind of terrain does the Kinkajou typically prefer?
So yeah, Kinkajous are they are arboreal, and they like the lowlands. So they're usually you will find them in trees.
And I have learned from previous interviews that typically animals with larger eyes are primarily nocturnal. So is that the case with the Kinkajou?
Yes, it is very common for nocturnal animals to have much larger eyes, so they can, all the scientific terms for the eyes, to be able to pull in as much light as they can. So this is consistent with Kinkajous as well.
So what does their diet usually consist of?
So the Kinkajou diet is 90% fruits. They like to eat nectar as well, and some flowers. Occasionally they can eat some arthropods or small birds, and sometimes vertebrates as well.
They have those really long tongues as well to get the nectar out of flowers and plants and such as well.
What special adaptations does the Kinkajou have to help survive in its environment?
So Kinkajous have a lot of neat adaptations. Being an arboreal animal, they have a prehensile tail. They have really gripping hands that help them keep their hold when they're up in the trees. They have those really long tongues, like we just said, to help them get the honey and nectar from plants and in holes in the trees. They have really flexible knees and joints that allow their hind feet to be rotated 180 degrees, backwards. That allows them to descend or hang from a tree head first. So it's kind of a really neat adaptation for them.
So what family of animals is the Kinkajou related to?
So they're part of the very important family. It's called Procyonids, and they're related with the coatis and raccoons.
And due to the Kinkajou's smaller size, are there any animals that would prey on it?
So the Kinkajous would be preyed upon by large cats like ocelots and pumas, jaguarundis, and eagles, like the harpy eagle and such.
What is the conservation status of the Kinkajou?
According to the IUCN, the Kinkajou is least concern, but the population is decreasing.
And how have humans impacted the population size and the environment of the Kinkajou?
So potential threats for the Kinkajou would be deforestation, which is very similar for all wildlife, especially being that they're arboreal animals. If they don't have trees, then they don't have a place to live. Also capture for the pet trade and hunting for their meat and their pelt. Unfortunately, things like this can be sold at a high price, making it really appealing for people to try to capture and sell these animals.
So, kinkajous are sometimes kept as pets, and there was like a big, there was a big moment where they were more kept in the States because one of like an actress was having them. They're personally tend to be very playful. They're very cute, and people think they can be pets, but kinkajous are one of the most aggressive animals that we have to deal with, and they need to be aggressive because in the jungle life they need to fight against predators. They need to fight for the territory with other males or females. So it's in their nature to be aggressive, and sometimes some owners have reported attacks by the kinkajous, even though they're being kept as pets for years. It's just something in their inner nature that we can't avoid. They belong to the jungle, they belong to a tree, they belong to be free in the forest, not being in an apartment in the city. So I think it's very important that we understand that, and even though they're very cute and they can be playful, they're not an animal to be to have as a pet.
So obviously I researched you guys' organization and kind of all the great work that you guys are doing down there. But for the people who haven't done that, could you tell us a little bit about your organization and their mission?
So our organization's focus is to rescue, rehabilitate, and release wildlife back into the wild. We receive animals from locals, from a government organization, Menai. Kind of, that's about it. Or if we find them, we found some on our daily drive to work, or
Tourists sometimes can find them hit by cars on the road, or they can find orphans too.
Yep, a lot of orphans. But our goal is to rehabilitate them, give them the care they need so that they can be successful again back in the wild. We do, however, have a sanctuary setting as well, where some animals that either kept as pets for too long, that they just don't have any of those natural behaviors, or have sustained an injury that while they're a completely healthy animal, they either can't fly or just wouldn't do well in the wild, and would put them at risk to be preyed upon right away. And we just can't, in good nature, put them back in the wild, knowing that they wouldn't survive at all. So we do give them a great quality of life. We give them lots of regular enrichment. We care for them, give them great food, diets that are specifically geared for each species, each individual sometimes even, and just try to do everything we can to give them the best life, even though they're not back in the wild. But our success rate and our release rate is pretty high, and we're very proud of what we've been doing here.
If somebody watching wanted to get into your line of work, what would be a good place for them to start? Like, what degrees or certifications would they need?
So I think this job requires a lot of passion and love. It's a very rewarding career, and I think there's a number of careers that you can study, that you can be part of a wildlife conservation center, such as biology, zoology, or veterinary assistant, or vet techs, or veterinarian like me. And I think you just have to focus on try to specialize in conservation and wildlife conservation, and then just pursue your dreams and try to make it come true.
And I always like to ask people this question, but what is your favorite thing about working with kinkajous?
So kinkajous are actually quite a challenge. Like Sandy was saying before, they're very aggressive, especially those wild ones coming in, and even Jimmy, because he's a little more scared because he can't see or hear quite well. It can be a little unpredictable. So they're very aggressive animals, but and fast and agile and very intelligent as well. So it's always interesting to work with them and learn more about them and the species, and just how we can better manage their care if they are here needing assistance.
And I would like to thank you ladies so much for helping me film this video.
Well, thank you for watching with us, and we're glad we could help answer some questions. We hope you learned a lot about kinkajous and help protect the earth.
Obviously times are tough with this crisis, so it's kind of difficult to film videos, and I hope you guys are enjoying the different style of videos that we're doing and the kind of varied style that we're doing here, kind of switching up between my animals and these virtual interviews like this. But as always, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and also check out my Instagram @ColeShirk. And as always, I'll see you next week.